a big fan of DNFing books. If you were unaware, DNF stands for did not finish. It occurs anytime that I'm in the middle of a book and don't feel like reading it anymore, or maybe it's on my shelf and I read one chapter of it and I don't feel like reading it anymore, if I just in general don't feel like reading it anymore. Opinions will differ on whether or not people DNF books, if they think it's a valuable option or if they think it's worth it. There's some people that have never quit reading a book in their life after they've started it, and there's people who pick up 5 books and 4 out of those 5 times they get rid of the book because if they're not enjoying it by the first 50 pages, off with its head. Today I wanted to discuss why I DNF books and also why I think it's okay that everyone else should DNF books and it should be an option to have in mind. I would say that I probably DNF 1 or 2 books a month. Sometimes I'll DNF a book if I've started it, sometimes I'll DNF a book if I haven't read it yet, which I think is a little bit of a different thing, but I still want to discuss getting rid of unread books in this video as well. Or I might DNF a series and decide not to finish it. For stopping reading a book in the middle of it and deciding, you know what, I'm not going to continue this, there's a couple of factors that go into that. But I do have a baseline for when I'll decide to cut it off. I force myself to get through at least a quarter of the book. If that's 50 pages, if that's 100 pages, if it's half the book sometimes, I really make myself put in an effort to get through some of it because I know for some series and some books it just is a little bit slow in the beginning. So I always make sure to give myself that cushion time just to see, like, do I actually hate this or is it just the first couple chapters? The reason why I might DNF something is like, is it confusing? Has it said some problematic things? Do I not like the main character? Is it hard to follow? Is the world building too info dumpy and or not explained enough? All factors that might go into me thinking, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this. And I think it's really valuable to be able to assert that if by page 50 I am 100% sure I'm going to give it a 1-star rating, why continue it? If I'm not going to like it and it's taking me forever to get through and it's taking up a bunch of my energy of me trying to pick up the book and get back to it, I'd just much rather put it in a box and pretend it never happened. This is because I have a lot of books on my TBR. A lot of my books are in storage, but I'll bet you that I probably have like 200 unread books. I have a lot of other things I could be reading instead. Also, my time is valuable. I'm a college student. I have a limited amount of free time every day, and if I spend it doing something that makes me want to pull my hair out and throw out the window, I might as well move on to something else. And lastly, if I'm not enjoying this book but I decide to trade it off or give it to Half Price Books or give it to a charity shop, what's not to say that someone else is going to enjoy it better than me? I'm suffering through something that's the worst thing of my entire life. I'm having a really bad time. It's boring. I hate the characters, but I might be able to hand that to someone else and that's their new favorite book of all time. So why am I selfishly hoarding this piece of trash when I could be sharing the trash with the world? Like I mentioned earlier, I'm also a really big fan of unhauling books or getting rid of books that are on my unread shelf even before I even pick them up. This mainly comes from the fact that I buy a lot of books and a lot of those books sit on my shelf for a long time and my reading tastes are constantly fluctuating. So a book I might have bought in 2015 might not be as interesting of an option to me now in 2017 as a college student, not so much enjoying the things I used to enjoy, and therefore I'm always a fan of just reading the front page or reading the first couple chapters and realizing, this doesn't sound interesting, so I'll throw it out. So factors that might influence if I get rid of an unread book. Number 1, how long ago did I buy it? Do I care about it now? Probably not. Number 2, if I had nothing to do today and I had no responsibilities, would I read it right now? If the answer is then I probably wouldn't feel like picking it up any other time. I'm probably never gonna get to it and I'm not excited about it, so why would I keep it? I'll just get it from a library if it ever becomes important to me again. Number 3, do I know anything about it? Do I remember a synopsis? Do I know anyone who's talked about it? Do I even care about it? If I say no to all of these, then why do I have it? If it's just sitting on my shelf and I don't remember what it's about, I don't remember who recommended it to me, and I don't really know if I want to read it or not, it's kind of useless. And number 4, if I read the entire first chapter of this book right now, does it make me want to continue it? This last one would mainly be for books that I'm not sure if I want to keep or not. So if I read it and it doesn't immediately draw me in, I'll be like, you know what? I'm not feeling this right now, I'll give it to someone else. If this ever becomes a movie or one of my best friends decides to read it and loves it, then I might try it in the future, but hey, libraries exist. And also, series. I'm a really big fan of reading the first book in a series, saying it wasn't for me, and then never reading the rest of the series. Because series are a commitment. If I can make it through the first book in a series and there's 5 others, I'm not one of those people to be like, you know what, even if this book was 1 star, I'll read the rest of them just to see. This is why I have a rule for myself that I will only ever buy the first book in a series or only the next book that I need, so that I don't buy an entire series, then read the first one and realize this sucks. Now I feel pressure to read the rest of them. Thinking ahead. So if I read the first book in a series and then I'm not sure if I want to continue with that series, here's a couple of the guidelines that I use just to see, should I keep going or is this not good? First of all, I am someone who forgets what I did 5 minutes ago. I don't remember anything from books I've read probably more than 2 weeks ago. And I'm also not a huge fan of rereading books. If I'm put in front of a series where I've only read the first one 3 years ago and now I have the sequel, or I'm thinking about getting the sequel, if I don't remember anything from the first one, that's a really big deal breaker for me, whether or not I'm gonna read the second one. Also going along with that is, have I lost interest over time? So if a year after I read the first book, I look at the second book and I'm like, I don't really remember the first one, I'm not really interested in finding out what happens, screw it, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna make myself commit to a series that I feel lukewarm about. If I'm missing something, hopefully someone someday will tell me I can grab it from a library, but until then, I have anticipated releases and I have other sequels to other series that I'm excited about, so why would I confine myself to reading this one thing that might be good, might not? This could also be a progression over a series. Maybe the 4th book of a series is coming out and I'm looking at it like, you know what, the first 2 books were good but the 3rd sucked, so I don't really want to find out what happens. Screw it, don't read it. I have no guilt abandoning a series. I have no guilt abandoning in the middle of a book. If I find myself thinking, I'm not enjoying this, I don't think I'm gonna give it a good rating, I have no reservation in stopping reading that book and just reading something else. Which I think I should disclaim, I do finish a lot of bad books. It's not like every 1-star book I read I'm like, oh this is horrible, I'm gonna move onward. I only ever DNF books if it's something that's horrible but also unbearable to get through, or like offensive and triggering. Which is why I never DNF Colleen Hoover books, because although they're the worst and they're problematic, they're not slow. I think it's also important to note that if I DNF a book, it really depends on whether or not I give that book a star rating. Usually I'll withhold giving it a rating just because I feel like it's a little bit unfair to give a book a rating without having read it in its entirety. But there are a couple of exceptions to this rule. I think if a book is damaging, it has a bad intention, it has offensive material, or if I've read like 95% of it, then I will give it a rating, and usually it'll be 1 or 2 stars. But for the most part, if I DNF a book, or even if I just skim read a book, I'll try not to give it a rating. I would love to hear what you all have to say about this topic. Are you someone that trucks through it no matter what, or are you someone that reads the first page and goes, nope, I don't like this, new book? I'm definitely in between there somewhere, but I am a huge fan of DNFing books when I feel like it, because it's so freeing. It creates so much time for other things that you might enjoy more. So let me know how you feel about DNFing books. I know a lot of people would much rather finish a book and truck through it rather than getting rid of it. I hope you all are having a wonderful life, and I will see you next time. Bye!